Yo, 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 what's going on, great people in all of the great land? It's your guy, Nicholas Wilcox. It's your guy, Johnny Main. We out here. You already know what time it is. We got the Fantasy Football Show. We're heading into week 4. We got the waiver ads we got for you, plus Monday Night Football, your DFS, your props, and your bets, of course. Johnny, what up, my guy? Say what's up to the great people.
What it do? What it do? Just coming off of cloud nine, man. Just leaving a 6th and 7th grade soccer fiasco where my daughter is, shout out to her, man. She's out here crushing it, man. Averaging a goal and an assist, every game, man. No, it has nothing to do with football, but she's got to take a moment, man, just to be a dad.
Show some fatherly pride,
just to be a dad for a second. I'm like, yo. They might cut you. She's like, oh, you mean they're going to cut me? Let's go, bro. Let's do this. And she's been out there just crushing it, ever since, man. So, yeah, so feeling good. It's a good night to win some money. Good night to be profitable. I did win some money, last night after I took the Chiefs and the 6 points last night in that Sunday night game. So feeling good, ended Sunday with a win. So I'm feeling good. So we'll roll it over into Monday and we'll keep winning. So glad for everybody tuning in and, ready to talk about some waiver ads and, some DFS and some props. But I know before we do that, we got to talk about the bloodbath that was week 3.
The injuries coming out of week 3 is the unfortunate side of things that we'll have to talk about right now. It's unfortunate. As everyone's heard, CeeDee Lamb, we'll start with him, right? 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain now. That is really unfortunate because of just how it happened, right? We're using CeeDee Lamb as a running back now. Come on, yeah. Brian Schottenheimer. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? You're using your elite, world-class wide receiver.
Getting his best player the ball, man.
Nah, man. You got to do it in a smarter way. Like, come on. An end around, screen. Come on. Like, don't give him an actual running back carry like that. Like, not to say CeeDee Lamb ain't built for it. I'm just saying, anyhow, there were apparently no regrets about that, when things came about. But it's still come on, man. So yeah, CeeDee Lamb potentially going to miss, they say at least the first 2 weeks that Ed reporter was talking about CeeDee Lamb 3 to 4 weeks, but he was talking about he's definitely going to miss at least the next 2 games, and he won't go on the IR. So that's a good news. So there's that with CeeDee Lamb, and we'll talk about that in a little while, how that kind of impacts things in terms of how Cowboys move forward. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that CeeDee Lamb's now out for 3 to 4 weeks. Side note, I gave John an offer for CeeDee Lamb coming into this week. And it was A.J. Brown and Jordan Mason for CeeDee Lamb. And he didn't even budge. He didn't want any parts of it. He didn't want any parts of that trade.
Nope.
So no regrets about that trade, Johnny?
Nope. I got enough A.J. Brown to go around. And I think you also failed to leave out a very important detail about this trade. You have an 0-4 roster to my 1-3, and I need a Monday Night Miracle tonight from David Montgomery, and I think I need 20 points. If tonight ends and Montgomery doesn't get his 20, then maybe I might feel a little bit different about this trade. But as of right now, I think, as I always tell people, I'm stubborn. I'm an old man. I believe in what I do. I believe in my process, and we'll see how it goes, man. And not to mention, just sidebar in that league, everybody and their mom is hurt on that roster for me, just for the record. So, but you also caught me in a grumpy old man mood. To be fair, as well.
I gave you a fair offer, though.
You gave me a fair offer, but you caught me in a. I texted you everything. You caught me in a grumpy.
No, I know you did.
I was so grumpy. Somebody sent me a trade.
Me, though.
No, it was just grumpy. I told you, if you want to really get on my nerves, send me a stupid trade. And somebody in that same exact league sent me a stupid trade, Hollywood Brown for Mike Evans. And I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm grumpy. It's been a long week. You know what? I got something for you. So how about Hollywood Brown and Mike Evans how about Mike Evans and I don't even know what else it was for Rome Odunze? And I get back, I'm trying to understand your math. I'm trying to understand your math. If you're going to send me a stupid trade, I'm going to send you what stupid trade right back. So, and then you see like a reasonable trade in the middle of all of that when my patience is absolutely gone. So, maybe it's just me being an old grumpy man. Who knows? But whatever.
Rob's asking about how's the Fans Classic League, the ESPN one for your representative for us.
Actually, that's actually going really good, man. I'm actually getting ready to get my second win. I'm getting ready to be 2-1 in that league. Omarion Hampton popped off for me yesterday.
Hell yeah, he did.
Yeah. And along with, ironically enough, AJ Brown.
Oh, let me do the Birdman, huh?
Yeah, AJ Brown popped off for me as well. So between those two guys, that really helped out quite a bit for me. And I'm pretty sure the guy I was playing, I think he might have had CD Lamb, I think, too. So I'm getting ready to be 2-1 in that league, feeling good. I'm not going to talk about it too much because the moment I talk about something too much, I'm such a good trash talker that the big man upstairs will even things out. So that's why I don't talk a lot of trash. It's because I'm just too good at it. So right now, hopefully, I am going to finish this week 2-1. So appreciate you asking, Rob.
And then for the qualifier for myself, I'll be 3-0 in that league. For Fans Classic. And, I think the best thing going for me in that roster really is, I think what goes underrated sometimes is I believe I have like three decent tight ends in this format. So you have Warren, Hawkinson, the Dallas Goedert, and then I picked up Zach Ertz for some reason. Like in this format where you got to start 3 flexes, like,
yeah,
it's you're gonna be weak somewhere, but at least like all those tight ends I could literally just flex and play as I go.
By any means necessary.
Literally, I don't care how ugly it is, but it's like all right. But yeah, look, shout out to Hampton for sure because he's gonna get busy. And now I get a report. Underdog is reporting that Jerry Jones is saying that Lamb could potentially go on IR. Potentially. Oh, Lord, man. More news, injury news. James Conner. Your boy, James Conner.
Yep.
It was only a matter of time, folks.
Oh, here we go.
It was only a matter of time.
Here he goes. He's predicting injuries now. Nostradamus. Go ahead. He's predicting injuries out here.
I never predicted it. I'm just saying.
You just said it was a matter of time. What other context is that? What other context is that? There's no other context, and I knew that was coming.
Had our bags packed for Trey Benson to come in to finally do work. And now, because I don't have as much of it across the board this year, James Conner now wants to come get injured. That figures.
Yeah.
But not predicted injuries. I was just saying, I predicted last year. It just didn't happen. So, unfortunately, James Conner, I'm not rooting for injuries. But on a serious note, shout out to James Conner. Hopefully he gets healthy real soon. I hate rooting for injuries. So James Conner, unfortunately, going to be on the IR. His season's done. And that same vein, Najee Harris, your boy from the Steelers, formerly.
2x Steelers, man. 2x Steelers running backs, man. The last two running backs.
Achilles injury. You saw the video. It's just like, it didn't pop like, how you saw Watson or anything, but it was like, man, you saw it.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, we don't know the parameters around him just yet. But it sounds like it's, a mild hamstring strain, but there's video surfacing on kind of how he was going towards the locker room, and he just looked really upset. So I don't know what that exactly means. I know Mike Evans did miss, I think he missed 4 to 6 games last year as well.
He missed
something in the realm of that.
Yeah, he missed a handful. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the end of the world per se, but there's a few guys that we'll keep our eyes peeled on and we'll talk about. And then Terry McLaurin, he was questionable to come back to the game, but they really didn't need him because it was kind of they were out routing the Raiders in good old whipping fashion. So with Marcus Mariota at quarterback, so he didn't return, but we'll see. I mean, look, I didn't call this to happen. But it was more like McLaurin, you had to wonder, because usually when guys miss camp, they miss a good amount of snaps, they are potentially going to have an injury of some sorts. This just reminded me of Brandon Ayuk, so hopefully it's not as bad. Because I actually like Terry McLaurin. And I hope everything checks out for him going with that. Did we miss that, or did I miss any other injury notes outside of these guys that was prevalent?
Not that I am aware of. No, not that I'm aware of. I don't
Just
think
wanted to
so.
be sure. Just wanted to be sure. To the QBs, we go for the waiver wire for week 4 upcoming. So full disclosure, when we're talking about these guys, just double check your waiver wires because your league's gonna be different than our leagues. We try to curtail these additions to competitive 12-team leagues. There's some shallower 10 teams that, may still have some of the guys, may not, whatever. But also we'll sprinkle in some guys that are for deeper leagues. So just pay attention to your waiver wire and then pay attention to what we got. So without further ado, the following QBs, we will scroll on the ticker. First up's your guy, Geno Smith, right? Coming off a nice performance.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't categorize him as my guy. I would say he's a serviceable quarterback. I think there's definitely, some things there, from a fantasy side that people kind of slept on him. I think, going to the Raiders when he was with the Seahawks, he had that year where nobody picked him. He was the last quarterback in drafts, in every single draft. And then he ended up, being a solid play. I think this year, people kind of looked at him in the same vein. He wasn't the last quarterback taken, but he was definitely in that realm of the Cam Wards, the Daniel Joneses, that space as far as quarterbacks. But the fun fact about Geno Smith is, and one of the other quarterbacks we'll talk about right now, number 1, Geno Smith is number 2 in the NFL in passing yards right now, just exactly the way we mapped it out in August, for sure. And then right now he has more top 12 finishes right now than Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott. So those 3 quarterbacks that I'd mentioned specifically, Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray, those are quarterbacks, more so Jaden Daniels than Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray kind of slid in most drafts towards the 11, 12, 13 QB. But we're in a space where Geno Smith has more QB1 finishes than those guys. I think that's just where we're at, man. And that's the season in a nutshell. And, I say it every week, man. Who do they play next? They play the Chicago Bears next. So that could be a game where there could be some points scored. So something just to kind of be putting in the back of your mind as far as from a DFS perspective, as far as, week 4 goes. So yeah, Geno Smith, man, again, just like we drew it out, QB 16, I believe so far on the year. So not quite a QB1, but if you're streaming or if you have somebody that, hasn't been producing in that QB1 space, I just gave you a couple names. Geno Smith's he's not a bad option for sure. If you're in a 14-team league, again, that's okay. Obviously, if you're in a super flex league, that's a solid play. He's probably not available.
No, and Geno's a solid spot. He's currently QB3 on the week, and a nice bounce back because everyone talked crap about the Raiders. So from Geno Smith's perspective, it's a great bounce back for him as well. And yeah, definitely, the word I would use for Geno, serviceable, especially for 2 QB leagues, super flex leagues. What I got was Matthew Stafford, and I know it's a little bit the back injury woes, whatever. But again, another guy that's serviceable if you need to start in a pinch, with all these QBs getting hurt. Hopefully Jaden Daniels for most people is coming back this week. Upcoming, there's a good amount of talk that he is. But then there's also, hey, if you started Jake Browning this week, good Lord, thinking that was going to be something. Our guy Carson Wentz here in this list is here as well, so he's serviceable. And Sam Darnold's here as well. But I think Stafford, because he has some elite weapons around him, they get Indianapolis this upcoming week 4. So this should be a nice spot still to stream. They'll be at home. Indianapolis more middle of the pack still right now. But when they face a competent, quarterback, Knicks, he scored 21 fantasy points on them in the matchup a couple weeks back. So I like Stafford in this spot. you could definitely stream him if you need a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah, I mean Matt Stafford, I think like he's just a bridge guy for me at this point. I think like obviously he gives you little to nothing as far as like the rushing game goes. He supports too.
Some waiver wires are definitely scarce out here right now.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they are. They are like in the quarterback spot. But like nothing like I mean, like the injuries happened at quarterback really, last week. So really there's no residual impact this week as far as like any injuries. There weren't any quarterbacks that went down this week. So like if you already had to make moves, like you had to make those moves last week. So, for guys like Carson Wentz, and Jake Browning, I know like we had talked about Jake Browning last week. Again, like those moves happened last week. Like they didn't happen this week. The injuries didn't happen this week at the quarterback position, but Carson Wentz is probably still more likely than not still out there on your waiver wire. Sam Darnold is probably still out there as well in most leagues. Like all the names that are on this list here, more likely than not, are still available floating around like on your league. And like I said, a lot of these players have had more productive QB1 weeks than some of your favorite quarterbacks that have name brands. So I said it last week, and we have officially entered the realm of, it doesn't matter where you drafted the guys at now at this point. Like we're going into week 4, which is almost a quarter of the fantasy season being over. I think a guy like Carson Wentz is a little bit different because we don't really know what that looks like. We don't know if it's J.J. McCarthy. After this, we don't know, but we do know Sam Darnold is the guy in Seattle, obviously. We do know Matthew Stafford is the guy in Los Angeles. We do know that Geno Smith is the guy in Las Vegas. So those are really more long-term options. I think with Carson Wentz is more of a short-term play. But, yeah, I mean, Matt Stafford, the only way for him to really absolutely pay off is, like, for him to go out and really throw for, like, 4 or 5 touchdowns and 300+ yards. So I think which is in the realm of possibility with what he's got. So he's just, if I looked at these guys here on this list, he probably wouldn't be the first guy because you know what you're getting. Like, it's just a floor play. But Matt Stafford got no qualms about him at all, man.
Nah, I would say I think we probably have the order correct as it goes, but any one of these guys, again, like if you're in a tough spot, if you're a league where people are piranhas and try to just grab quarterbacks to put them on the bench, because there's some people out there that just do that to be, just straight buttholes. But
I love it.
That's what kind of happens. But again, all these guys I feel like have somewhat serviceable upcoming matchups where you can plug and play. Go into the chat. We got Haywood blowing it up. He's like 13 missed field goals yesterday. 5 or 6 defensive special teams touchdowns. 3 teams losing by 31 plus. Yeah. The biggest one obviously is Atlanta. Like, what an absolute letdown.
Atlanta? Green Bay, brother. Green Bay.
I mean,
Bay, brother.
Yeah, but
dude,
I'm just saying, I would say, well, we said it that Cleveland's defense was going to be something that was going to make things a bit more tougher.
Yeah,
they pulled off the upset, but it's like I just felt with Atlanta and how again they come from a game where you saw a lot of great things come together, but I'm just saying a letdown spot and where you didn't score any points. You got blown out on the road and didn't score any points.
Yeah, but I think
the Carolina Panthers team, John.
Yeah, but the Green Bay Packers, bro, that's a team that people were already pegging for Super Bowl. Like nobody had the Atlanta Falcons
Who was pegging the Super Bowls?
Bro, have you not been paying attention the last 2 weeks, dude? The people had been crowning the Green Bay Packers and that defense. They had been crowning them, man. Crowning Jordan Love, who's a guy that I like and I'm still in on. People were crowning them. Nobody thought the Falcons were going to win the Super Bowl. Both games were gross upsets, like no doubt. No doubt.
It's wild. To the running backs we go. Following running backs, make sure they are not on the wire. And they goes as follows. Trey Benson, obviously, he's in I would say ownership wise, like in all my leagues, he's already owned. Or he was drafted really late and people just kept on to him. 59% right now in sleeper league, so there's probably some wiggle room that he's still out there, but there's a lot of people who say, "Oh yeah, grab Benson." It's like he's probably already owned. But just double check, and if he is on your waivers, drop it all. Drop it all.
Yeah, no,
empty the clip, baby.
Yeah, no, he's
empty the clip.
Yeah, he's the number one waiver priority this week without a doubt, no questions asked.
And then Bayshon Tune and Ollie Gordon, they're speculative ads because same thing with them. They're pretty much one injury away from really going boom as well. So I would say, yeah, if these guys, they should be relatively on some people's benches as well. But I saw Ollie Gordon 34%, so on sleeper league. So just look at your waiver wires and just double check for these guys because don't be caught slipping. But the running backs we got right here are as follows. So Woody Marks, we have the Washington running backs here. Blake Corum once again. Tyler Spears made the list. Jaden Blue and then Brashard Smith. John, who do you like really out of all these guys to really like? You see the outlook for them if they get more of the role moving forward.
I got two guys that 2.5. I'll go.
2.5 men. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Chris Rodriguez.
One of them a midget.
Well, Chris Rodriguez, I said last week, so like I'm not gonna revisit the well on that one. And I got one of your interesting takes on that. So he did.
Oh, you like that, huh?
I didn't say I like it. I just said I'm taking notes on it. I'm taking notes on it.
Oh, you should be.
I'm not taking any notes, man.
You better not be.
No. So Chris Rodriguez was a guy that I had said last week that I thought he was the guy to go grab after the Austin Eckler injury. He outsnapped every running back in the Commanders' backfield last week, so that's my half a guy because I already made my take on him already last week. And then Blake Corum, I think, is he's an interesting guy. Like at this point, last year he was a guy that he was being drafted after that first wave of starting running backs very aggressively in best ball and even in a couple of season-long leagues, especially after Kyron Williams was going to be the kickoff return man. Teams or fantasy managers started to kind of shift a little bit. And then from there, it's like I know Brashard Smith, like that's a name that like you want to say. But again, man, like the Chiefs, like, golly, dude, like they are a hot mess, bro. They are a hot mess. And he had a 10%, he played 10% of the time on Sunday Night Football, man. Yeah. So I just think like with the Chiefs, it's going to be like it's going to be a continuous committee. And like my plug for Woody Marks will be, if you've seen the Texans offensive line, man, it's just hard. It's just hard. It's just so like bad. You could do a lot worse, bro. You could do it. So Chris Rodriguez and Blake Corum would probably be the two guys for me that I would probably be looking at this group, other than the names that you mentioned beforehand, Tootin, Benson, and Gordon. Those would be two of the names that I would really kind of keep an eye on if I have deeper benches.
That makes sense. I mean, Woody Marks is probably the guy for me that I want to like. We see it. I believe that this could be a thing as the weeks go on. 12% snap share week 1, 28% week 2, and this past week 40%. So it's starting to go a little bit in the right direction. Pretty much should be he's very close to taking over Dario Gumbawale, like the third down role and stuff like that. So that's a guy that I definitely want to keep stashed on my benches. And just keep on waiting that game. And I would say, like, look, like I definitely like Blake Corum coming out of Michigan last year. We definitely liked him. It's just I still feel it's definitely Kyron's role. I felt like if the second week in a row, like Blake started to look like he was going to eat more into that role, then I would probably say he's more of like a nicer ad. But I still think Blake Corum is still someone that if you are in a deeper league, like, and there's just not a lot of running back options, I wouldn't mind going him. The problem I have with the Washington running backs really is like I called this thing from jump, yo. Called it from jump. Like there's just too many guys that can touch the ball every week. When it comes to just those running backs, and even when you factor in Deebo Samuel, and even when you factor in Jane Daniels / Marcus Mariota, because look at what Mariota was doing, scrambling everywhere and stuff too. So I just really don't want any parts of this Washington running back room, because it feels gonna be too high-handed. It feels like it's gonna be like one guy 1 week, one other guy doing this, and then too much splitting of the overall usage. I just don't like that. Rashard Smith, I'm still holding out some hope. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, he starts getting a bit more, eating more into that, getting more, into this offense, and we just see something like him just gets it going. Because again, like you said, the Chiefs are somewhat a hot mess. Until they get Rashee Rice back, it's
and Xavier Worthy. They need both of those guys back. It's not just Rashee Rice. That offense has got to have both of those guys, because otherwise, in that if they don't have those guys there, both of those guys at the same time, this Kansas City Chiefs offense looks like an average NFL offense. Is really all it shakes down to, man.
Totally, I hear that too. To the receivers we go. Because I want to keep on talking about the Chiefs for a moment. We got Hollywood Brown here, and we have Tyquan Thornton here. Tyquan Thornton, talk about a guy you should have been drafting last round in your best ball drafts. Tyquan Thornton, back-to-back weeks with at least double-digit fantasy points. He was, as it stands right now, the wide receiver 14 in full-point PPR. Very interesting, because I didn't exactly see him coming in a way. But look, the snap percentage, 72% week 1, 75 week 2, 76 this past week. Is he someone that should be prioritized? Obviously, Emanor is obviously our guy here. That should be definitely rostered already. He's still 50% rostered in sleeper leagues. But then there's other guys here. But who are your two guys that really fit the bill?
So I'm gonna make my disclaimers. Alec Emanor, been talking about him for a while, so I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on him.
Nope. He should be rostered already.
Yeah, he should be rostered already. If he's not, please.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm gonna step away from 2, and I'm gonna go into 3. And Sterling Shepard is the first guy I'm gonna go with because of Mike Evans' injury. He's already getting almost 60% of snaps already. So obviously with the Mike Evans injury, that just means he's going to be on the field a little bit more. So it's either him, and I don't want to jump into different segments or other players, but it's either him or it's either K-Dot. It's got to be one of those two guys, depending on the amount of time that Mike Evans are out. Or who knows, man, even Rachaad White maybe can give you something in the passing game. So I think the Bucs have the Bucs have a plethora of options. When you're looking at it right now, Sterling Shepard, he's pretty much been a wide receiver 4. I think he was wide receiver 50 right now, year to date. So this moves him up into a wide receiver 3 range for however long, potentially for however long Mike Evans is off the field. So I think that's a place that I definitely want to look as well, is Sterling Shepard. And then Kevontae Turpin is a guy that I think is very interesting to me. He's very interesting because he's very explosive. And then obviously with the CD Lamb injury, Jake Ferguson, believe it or not, is actually the tight end 1 right now, year to date. Ironically enough,
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, got a ton of him.
No victory laps just yet, but
no, I got a ton of him as well. But he's doing it all without scoring touchdowns. I think I'd seen something. He hadn't scored a touchdown since 2022. It's a crazy stat.
That's crazy.
But the guy,
really?
Yeah, wow. It's wild. The guy for me amongst this group is Trey Tucker. I can't even believe that I'm actually saying that out loud. But he had moments last year where you could see he looked explosive. Yes. But dude, the guy's had he's played 91% of snaps already to start the year for the Vegas Raiders. And then he's already had 2 weeks as a top 24 wide receiver, and he's in the top 30 in the NFL in targets and ranks 8th overall as far as wide receivers and snaps goes. he's playing people. Like, he's playing. Like, he is playing. And I know it feels weird because you obviously have Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. Like, you have all of these other players, Ashton Genty, right? But Trey Tucker, it looks like through 3 weeks, he might be somebody. I'm not going to say might. I'm going to stand on mine. He's somebody that needs to be on your roster, like, at this point, especially, if you have a CD Lamb or a Mike Evans or a Jawan Jennings, right? Like, that's somebody that you can absolutely slide into that position for sure. And then another guy, Parker Washington, 11 targets last week, or I say last week, this week, week 3. That offensive game plan for the Jaguars, I don't know what the hell it is right now. It's not popping. They're winning games, but Parker Washington, all of a sudden, like, why not? Like, if you're in deeper leagues, like, you can absolutely throw a dart at him, for sure. And I know we talked a little bit. This is the last guy, and I'll give you the rest of them, man. We talked about Torrey Horton. Torrey Horton, man, the only problem with him is he's just not playing enough, man. Like, he's just not on the field enough. For me, 46% playing time. He's got a 10% target share. He's doing a lot. He's giving us a lot of production with a little bit of work. And I find it very difficult to believe that he's going to be able to supplant Cooper Kupp just based off of what they paid him and just name and all that other, happy whatever. So, like, he's somebody, obviously, like, you want to have rostered. You want to keep an eye on for sure in deeper leagues. But I just think, like, he's just not playing enough right now for me to give him consideration. Yeah, I mean, he had a nice week, man. And it was on special teams. That's where it was. And then he played against the Steelers, which it seems like at this point, any and everybody is scoring against the Steelers. I want to keep, like, the punchline to myself, but it's really funny inside of my head right now. I just can't say it out loud. So yeah, man, that's what I got for the wide receivers that are out here, man.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, obviously that's a no-brainer to be still out there. Torrey Horton, I have a few spots. And it's like not a bet on Cooper Kupp. It's more about just, like, I think he have his own standalone role. He's already started to somewhat showcase that. He just needs a little bit more volume. But I guess the guys I would be interested to see if they're still out there. I'd be interested to see if Christian Kirk is still out there. Just because of the situation that we just talked about, right? It's been a couple of weeks and we haven't seen Jaden Higgins be able to take more of this lion's share role yet as the wide receiver 2 that I know some people were hoping for. So Christian Kirk's kind of slots in. He immediately comes in, week 3. And he's only behind Nico Collins in routes run, targets, and overall snap share. So I hope Christian Kirk's still out there for some people and you just pick him up and just you find he could be definitely a plug and play guy. Like, he's a couple of years removed from really being a really top end wide receiver. So hopefully some of that is still there. You talk about Turpin. He was someone I'm going to talk about, but honestly, like, it's one of those situations where I kind of want to see it first in a way before, because GP obviously gets a big bump, right? Without Lamb for the next couple of weeks. Jake Ferguson, same thing in this Dallas offense. So yeah, I mean, a couple ways I can still go. And then Darnell Mooney, to me, is someone that he had 11 targets this past week. I know Atlanta's offense doesn't look very appetizing, but Darnell Mooney is still a great talent. And he would be the wide receiver 2 here. In the Atlanta offense that we still believe in. We still believe in Bijan Robinson. We still believe in Drake London. So we still believe in those guys. So I would say Mooney would be someone I would still like to, add to my rosters. And like you said with Trey Tucker, like, took him a few shares of him late in best ball as well in the hopes, because there was a good amount of camp talk about him and Geno really having a nice connection. So the 3 touchdowns were a surprise, but it was like not as like a wow surprise. Like some people like, oh my gosh, Trey Tucker, what? It's like they did have that connection already. It's just one of those things that you had to kind of see it to believe it in a way. We got a question. Sam, your people. What's up, fellas? I have an interesting question this week. I'm in a Reaper league, and I am the Reaper. I got my first win this week, and now I get to choose a player to take from the losing team. Congratulations. Josh Jacobs or Javonte Williams. I'm in the win now mode, and Jacobs has a bye shortly. I would be interested to see what the rest of the roster looks like, but it's Josh Jacobs easily. You're taking him. It's a no-brainer. I know Javonte Williams will have more of a stepped-up role now without CeeDee Lamb. They may run the ball a bit more with Javonte Williams, but Dallas is somewhat still a murky-ish situation until I really see Javonte Williams really take a stranglehold of that backfield. So it's Josh Jacobs all day. He was highly targeted this past week out the backfield as well. So you're just taking Josh Jacobs. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's Josh Jacobs for sure, but I'm not going to let you just completely take a dump on Javonte because Javonte right now is RB6 year to date. He's actually ranked higher than Josh Jacobs. I do like Josh Jacobs because Josh Jacobs is actually playing the Dallas Cowboys this week. So that would be the reason why. And I'm a big proponent and big believer, Bernie, of don't get too ahead of yourself, man, about looking at as far as buys and things. I think this is a great spot for Josh Jacobs this upcoming week. Obviously they're coming off a loss, right? And this is a great opportunity for them to reestablish the run with Josh Jacobs this week. So hey, man, go get Josh Jacobs, go get the dub this week, man. And from my understanding of this, and excuse my ignorance of Reaper leagues, I'm in a guillotine league, so I'm assuming it's some similarities to it. But my assumption would be if you are the highest scoring person, that means you get to take players off of other people's teams. Go take Josh Jacobs, man. Go take Josh Jacobs and, hey, man, potentially have the guy that could help you be the highest scorer of that week, and then go take some more players, man. So this is easy money for me, man.
You could get Josh Jacobs this week. He helps you win this week, and then you, after the win, you grab whoever, let's say that team you beat had Jahmyr Gibbs on it. It's like, okay, no problem. So it's one of those things where, week to week you have to take it, but you can't get too ahead of yourself. So awesome. Love the question. But yeah, heading to the tight ends where, man, it is such a murky, season. Yeah, for tight ends, man, literally. We'll start with Hunter Henry because it feels like he does this every season. He does this at least once or twice every year where he comes out, scores got the baller of a game. You know what I'm saying? He scores a touchdown, maybe 2 in a game, and then just drops off the rest of the season. I hope that's not the case for some of us that need him because at tight end, it's definitely like without, some other guys and then people underperforming, like people are definitely looking for people to say, no, I drafted nobody. So some people call that Reaper. Some people call it Vampire. Like I do wish probably someone did do that format, but sometimes someone no one wants to be this or no one wants to be that, whatever. But yeah, that's what's up. But tight ends, tight end guy here for Fantrax. Hello. But that being said, look, Hunter Henry, I think he shouldn't be in waiver wires like this. He should already be owned for as murky as tight end's been. So he's out there, he's someone that I'd probably prioritize here. But I want to talk about Oronde Gladson. So Gladson, we talked about in our overall draft previews when we're talking about the draft with George, right? Gladson was like, people didn't really hear too much about from Syracuse and stuff like that. But he's definitely a tight end that I've definitely thought about just like, hey, he's someone I think has some it factor. His dad played in the NFL as well. He's definitely one of those move flex tight ends. And I was a little bit surprised that the Chargers used him the way they did this past week because I know Will Dissly had the injury. They brought in Tyler Conklin. But the way Gladson was moving, oh yeah, got me excited. So he's someone that you're in a deeper format or you need an extra tight end. You want to see if this sticks, pick him up. I do like the other names on this list too because Mason Taylor we talked about before. Cade Otton, I'm sure you want to talk about him, John, because Tampa Bay, when we don't know what's going to happen with Mike Evans. There's belief that he has a low-grade hamstring injury, but does that mean he's missing a week or two? Does that mean he's missing longer? What does that mean just yet? So there you go with that. But Brenton Strange on this list, still should be rostered as well. But yeah, I think all these guys are definitely viable, especially if you need tight end now.
Yeah, man. I think Rondé Gadsden, man. I like him as a talent for sure. But for me, like the one thing like I'm looking for like any player, right, is like, are they on the field? Because when they make plays like that, everybody's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Right. And so like, all right, like that is a play that is made. And obviously we cannot take that away from them. But like I also want my people to be on the field. Like if I'm rostering a player, like I want him to be on the field. Cade Otton is going to be on the field. Cade Otton currently right now is one of the top, I believe he's one of the top 8 tight ends as far as playing time goes so far. He's ranked number 4 right now. He's on the field over 90% of the time.
He definitely gets
he's
plays.
He's on the field. He's on the field, right?
He plays.
And as far as from a route perspective as well, like he's running routes. I just think it's just a matter of the pecking order as far as
Mr. Hollywood himself,
as far as Tampa Bay goes. And I think this is just an opportunity for him to step up. Like he gave some really good production last year as a tight end. After Chris Godwin went down, him and Jalen McMillan were 2 guys that produced a lot. So like that's a place that like I'm 100% comfortable getting back to. And Brenton Strange is 13. Brenton Strange is number 13 overall as far as tight ends go, as far as ranking. It's a very ugly situation. He's almost on the field about 85% of the time. So like he's another guy that like I don't mind at all if he's available on your waiver wire. So I think there's definitely a lot of options at tight end for sure. They're not sexy for sure, but like for me, like when I look at all of this, like I'm like, all right, like I'm going to prioritize the guys that are on the field, and the 2 guys that I just gave you as far as Brenton Strange and Cade Otton, those guys are on the field 100% because I know I did see Gadsden, and Gadsden was, all the tight ends for the Chargers were, 25, 25, 25, and 25 essentially, right? So, I mean, if they're on the field and there's no competition, it's more of a likelihood that something positive can happen. So those are the guys that I like at tight end.
Our guy Tip is in the chat. Yo, what up, homie? Rob's talking about your Steelers, saying they suck against tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, listen, ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. You know what I mean? Like they do.
So they do. Is this a sore spot moving forward then? Are you streaming against them or in general? Like, or is this like
I think next week. I think next week again, man, is a perfect recipe. Like he's not wrong. Carson Wentz threw 2 touchdowns to 2 different tight ends. The Steelers suck against tight ends. All right, cool. Like,
so Josh Oliver's a start?
I'm not saying he's a start. I'm saying like the context of the question is I think the Steelers suck against tight ends. Like, and Carson Wentz, like
Can you imagine next week Josh Oliver does it again and wins somebody some great money in DFS next week?
Listen, man. I put nothing is out of the realm of possibilities as far as the fantasy football world goes in my mind.
Burns talking about when's some merch going to drop for us. We'll keep you posted on that. We got a few things in our bag to be cooking up. So we'll keep you posted on that. One last thing, we're going to talk about streamer defenses real quick. The one streamer defense I want to talk about was the Chargers facing the Giants this week. I'll take the egg on the face. Russ Wilson went out there, and he sucked. And he was garbage. But again, like, it just is what it is. Russ Wilson, going back to what we thought of Russ Wilson before. But
I didn't have no thoughts about him. All my thoughts left last year. I got no thoughts about Russ Wilson.
That's fair.
Good luck. Good luck out there in the real world, kid.
But anyhow, Russ Wilson didn't perform well in general. And, I don't know what the game plan was really, or was it just the Kansas City defense just completely neutralizing Malik Neighbors? But they did force feed Malik Neighbors the ball a ton, and it was weird. But the Chargers, their defense has been on point. Literally, just when you watch the tape on them, they just fly to the ball. Henley, their linebacker, just goes out there and flies on people. It's crazy. He's just I feel like he's somewhat a better version of Khalil Mack in a way. at this stage of his career. Not, prime Khalil Mack, but could get there a couple of years. But yeah, I think there's a defense that you could stream. I know they haven't had like the best like turnover success. But again, Giants seem like they're inept to scoring against good teams and good defenses. So this is a spot where you can definitely stream defenses. For more, if you want more on that, hit your boy up. We can talk more about defenses and our thoughts as well. If you ain't following us on Twitter, what are you doing? If you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Tell your people. Tell all your people about us. Tell them about your favorite fantasy football homeboys. To the Monday Night Football show, we go. Lions gave 4.5 on the road going to Baltimore. Over-under is 53.5. The last time I checked, I think it moved a point. The last time I saw it was 53.5. It may have moved to 54. Am I right or wrong about that? Let's find.
It might have been 52 on DraftKings.
52 on DraftKings?
Might have been.
Nope, still 53 on DraftKings.
All right,
so
perfect.
Still on par. Lions a plus 200. Money line favorite. The Ravens a minus 245. This showdown is going to be interesting. I would say, man, the Ravens, excuse me, this is a tough one, right? Because both of these teams, they're both likable. They're both
they're not. No, they're not. They're both not likable. No, they're not.
Yeah, that was like, get them.
No, they're not likable. No, one team is likable. The other team, nobody likes.
That was again. Don't worry, I tried. Don't worry, I'll get you one time. But Lions Ravens, who you got and why?
I got the Ravens, man. I think just the Lions are a different football team like at home. That's the lazy answer, right? It's just the Lions are not at home. That's the lazy answer. The real answer is because I think for the Baltimore Ravens and their identity and who they want to be, especially Derrick Henry, again, coming off of playing the Cleveland Browns, right? Getting jammed up. I think there's no doubt about what happens tonight. As far as Derrick Henry and what the game plan is going to be. Like, I think we all know, man, like a lot of people, we're all grown ups here, right? And as far as watching football, typically what you want to do with an explosive offense like the Detroit Lions is, hey, man, you want to keep them on the sideline. And the best way to do that is give the rock to Derrick Henry, have that defense trying to chase around Lamar Jackson. And 2 years ago, I think it was 2023, again, rosters are different, coaching is different, right? There was a big game. There was a big game between these two, and it was in Baltimore, and Baltimore absolutely dominated them for sure. And I think I like the Lions playmakers at wide receivers. Like, I definitely like that a lot more than the Ravens pass catchers. But then, man, just like I said, like the Ravens, man, and like what they do defensively. Again, like I don't want to, fanboy here and be glazing the Ravens, right? But I do have respect for the product that they put out there. And listen, hey, man, again, I'll say it again. Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies. I feel like the Ravens, right? Like there's a lot going for them in this space coming off of a loss. Right. Like, and they have the last time they were on prime time against the Bills, they let one get away. The Lions, obviously, hey, man, the Packers, did what they did to them, for sure. And then they whooped up on the Bears. And I think it's safe to say the one thing about the Bears is I think they leave a lot to be desired on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, man. So the Ravens, I think this is just a really good spot. And for as much as I don't like Lamar Jackson as a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, man, good luck trying to contain that guy. Good luck trying to stop him. Good luck. You know what I mean? And I think like the one thing like I do enjoy about Lamar in some respect is just the type of teammate he is to everybody that's on his roster, right? Like you just heard like what he had to say about Derrick Henry and the fumble in that game, and that wasn't a thing. So I honestly, I'm looking at this game here, and I'm thinking two things. We have Mark Andrews and we have Sam Laporta. We have two tight ends who have really underwhelmed, essentially I won't say for the last 2 years, but Sam Laporta underwhelmed for where we drafted him at last year. Mark Andrews, I don't want to say he underwhelmed because he did okay, but like he was very touchdown dependent. I'm looking to see like which one of these tight ends is going to take a step forward, and is going to be a guy that like we feel very comfortable playing moving forward. But there's definitely like a lot of really good things here. Like the Ravens red zone defense is number 11 in the NFL. Their rushing red zone defense is number 11 in the NFL. So might be tough sledding for Jahmyr Gibbs tonight for sure. And then actually, as far as the passing game, as crazy as this sounds, the Ravens actually have a better passing game than the Detroit Lions do. So a couple things that I did. I took Rashad Bateman as my king of the end zone play on DraftKings for the longest touchdown of the night. Just because I think the Lions, obviously, all the things I've been talking about, this rushing offense. What do you want to do? You want to slow him down, right? And Rashad Bateman is one of those guys that, he's a secondary option. He's a secondary piece, and he can get behind the defense and make a big play. So I'm hoping Rashad Bateman gets behind the defense tonight, catches the longest touchdown, and gets me a nice share of, I think it's $2 million on DraftKings is what I'm hoping. So that is one actual real-life thing that I'm rooting for in that space. But the Lions, though, too, man, like offensively – their passing game, yeah, bro, like, and they've done a really good job against stacked boxes, and Baltimore does a lot of different things defensively. And Jahmyr Gibbs is he's still that guy. So it'll be interesting to see, man. I think this is absolutely going to be one of the better games of the year. And to answer your question, I think I'm going to, there you go, Rob, say needs a 20-point showing for Bateman tonight in the Fans Classic. So I don't need all that. I just need him to score the longest touchdown. That's all I need. No, I'm just playing, bro. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I got him in a couple DFS lineups. But I'm taking the Ravens straight up, man. I'm not messing with the over-under because I could absolutely see a space where this game goes 36-30. I could also see a space where this game goes 17-10 as well. But just give me the Ravens at home. Yeah, that's what I got, bro. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Ravens says Lamar Jackson as the quarterback against NFC teams, 24-2 record.
Fair enough.
So I'm taking the Ravens. I'm gonna take the points. I like Detroit. I love their offense too. I just think when you don't see Lamar Jackson as often as some of these AFC teams do, they just sometimes they don't have the personnel. I just wonder how they're going to. And I've talked about this since Derrick Henry signed with the Ravens. Like, you got to cover so many angles from a defensive side of things. So that's why kudos to Cleveland last week for really giving them a fight for a while, because you got to cover a lot of angles. You got to cover Lamar's options. You got to cover, Derrick Henry taking different angles. When he runs power run with these guys, you got to watch for the play action passes with Lamar. There's a lot of different angles. You got to check. If you're Detroit tonight on defense. And I think they're going to keep this a fight, but I think that Baltimore just might overwhelm them here in this spot. Lamar Jackson for me is someone that is like top tier, literally. Going to go over the bets that I have for this game because I'll explain that further. Lamar Jackson over 284.5 pass rushing yards. He's done this in the last 7 out of the last 8 times he's faced NFC opponents, dating back to even when, obviously different story, but, when they faced Detroit 2 years ago. We all know Lamar's a dual threat guy. The over-unders, spells that this should be a game where both quarterbacks should get up. And that's also why I have Jared Goff over 1.5 pass touchdowns. Goff has been nothing short of stellar still coming out. Especially after that week 1 loss against Green Bay. He's a quarterback that's just going to keep slinging, right? Detroit hopefully has their offensive line woes somewhat up fixed, so where the game can be more balanced. But that's also another way that Baltimore can get into this game, where if they disrupt this offensive line where Green Bay did in week 1, it's going to be a long game for Detroit. But I do like Jared Goff, throwing for at least 2 passing touchdowns tonight to keep things in order. Nick kind of looks like Derrick Henry. Oh man, yeah, just not ripped and athletic. You're right. I'm athletic, just not ripped. Baltimore pass defense is weak as hell. Yep, I would say so. So that's why I like Jared Goff for 2 passing touchdowns or more. Definitely Jahmyr Gibbs 4 catches as well. Not an official bet, but I'll be sprinkling into some of my personal lines. But that's what we got there. Anything more to say about the game, Johnny?
I got 2 bets. I got Derrick Henry over 90 rushing yards, and I got Lamar Jackson over 50 rushing yards. Those are 2.
And anytime touchdown for Derrick Henry.
No, that's just
too juiced.
Yeah, I just like at that point, I'm just like, yeah, man. Listen, you know what? Nope, not gonna go there. But yeah, like those are 2 bets that I do like for sure, like in both of those spaces, because it's a tight. You mentioned, like you said, like the Lions don't have the personnel, and like they don't see a guy like that. They've seen Jaden Daniels, and we've seen what Jaden Daniels did to him last year in the playoffs. So I think it's pretty similar-esque as far as Lamar goes, and the big dog is the big dog, baby. So
go Ravens.
I ain't going that far.
Go Ravens? Yeah, no,
I ain't going that far.
Why are you smiling?
No, I ain't going that far.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody coming out to the show tonight. Don't forget to tune in next time. Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We out here giving you guys the same spiel. Bets, props, start sits. Your last minute waiver wire additions. So we gonna get out of here. Enjoy the rest of the game. One last thing I want to mention that in an hour I'll be on the SiriusXM radio network with our guy Bob Harris. I'm looking forward to that. Just chopping up some football. So you guys got any additional questions? Come hang out with your boy, SiriusXM Radio, 9 p.m. Eastern. That being said, Johnny, any final thoughts for the people before we go?
May your Monday night miracles be full and prosperous.
I need Gibbs 21 points, full point PPR to get the job done in one of my leagues. So that should happen, right? It's gonna be close, right?
It's gonna be scary hours. We'll see.
It'll be close. I think it'll be close.
It'll be close.
It'll be close. It'll be definitely close, but I'm expecting that to happen. But anyhow, we out of here. We'll see you guys Sunday morning. Peace.